Hey, Brian, we are live. We're
I don't know if
live.
we're ready. Are we
Yes,
ready?
yes. Happy New Year, Brian.
Happy New Year,
We're ready.
Lynn. It's 2022.
Yes, we're here. Hey, you guys. Today we're going to talk about weaknesses and how to cope. We'll be right back. Welcome
I'm
back to
just
the
jamming
Real
to
Raw
that. I
with
like that.
Lynn and Brian. I do too. I feel like we're all jazzed up at a night show, though.
We're at like a coffee shop drinking espresso.
Yeah. I think it's all jazzy. I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
jazzy. It's jazzy.
Jazzy, yeah. So today you picked the topic. So today we're going to talk about, and I did change a little bit about the weakness and how to cope.
Yeah.
I changed it for a little reason here, but so anyways, so how did your New Year's go? Because this is our first show, 7 days, a whole week into the year already.
Wow. Wonder how those fitness programs are doing for those that
All you
want to,
do is
you know,
drive by and you see.
it's like when the management is doing their metrics, they're like, oh, we're gonna get everybody. You know, they get them in there, and then 2 months down the road, or maybe even like the 15th of the month, they're like, yes,
Yeah.
we're going to be able to claim a year-long membership when somebody was here 7 days. So it was good. I hung out with my girlfriend and my mom, and we went out for dinner, kind of low key. When it comes to the new year and whatnot, I don't know. I kind of have a connotation about it where it's like, let's just get on with it. Let's get into it. There's more work to be done. Um, there's a time to, unwind and be in the moment. But it's like, let's get going. We got stuff to do. So how about you?
It was good. I figure every day is, especially anymore, because things are rapid fire, even
Mm-hmm.
living anymore. If anybody hasn't figured it out, we're here today, gone tomorrow, so to speak. And so, the year started last year. Every second ago it started for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just living every day and changing the best I can and doing the best I can every day. And just the first part of the year is just working on my health. Doing my 3 shows, Scott, Cheryl, and you, and the Live, Love, Laugh I think it's going to start the beginning of next month, because I've gone through some physical therapy and some stuff. I go doctors next week and I get some more information of what's going on with my health. It should be good in the long run. It's just bumpy roads now. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so, without your health, you have nothing, right?
Nope.
So
Nope.
I got to take care of that first and foremost. And so, Michael, thank you for being
Michael.
here.
Hey,
So,
Michael.
so you picking a subject today as far as weaknesses and how to cope. I wanted to kind of do this like an interview process for you first, because
Oh,
uh,
she's
as far
surprising
as
me live on camera.
yep, that's what we do here, right? Well, because you picked the topic, I
Yeah.
wanted you to speak first, and I did take your little list, and I can actually put the little list up if you want, as far
Yeah.
as the little banner, if you'd like,
Yeah.
if that will
Whatever.
help you. But this is Brian's little list that he wanted to talk about. It's right like this. Does that work for you, Brian?
Yep. That works. Yeah.
Okay, so first, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Brian's list as far as weaknesses and how to cope, and then I'm going to talk about how I feel about the topic. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
go for it.
So, I mean, weaknesses are something that we all have. Me personally, I don't choose to look at them because why would I want to, they're there. Well, I continue to hone them and strengthen them and, continue to, because it's like, how much are they going to nag on you before you do something about it? Kind of like, going to a doctor. How much pain you're willing to endure before you do something about it? But I would rather hone those, but not do it in such a way where, I'm making myself wrong, right? I would rather double down on my everything I bring to the world in terms of positivity. The weaknesses are there, but I would just rather bring it to a neutral place where they're no longer detrimental to my health or anybody else. And plus, I think being vulnerable with people and being open is helpful. It's nourishing, and it's being vulnerable and uh, and just being vulnerable and then just open with everybody, I think is very, 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 very important in the world today.
So
So
I think you're on the right page. I think you're like so right where I'm excited to hear. And I'm so glad you said what you said. And I took that list off really fast
sure.
because believe it or not, I've been working with Rex a lot. And this book,
Yeah.
you got to fast forward, living on your life terms. I can't tell you the fact that Brian, as a matter of fact, I was at Clubhouse with Rex today. And
Yeah.
it was like I was supposed to be there before here because I went ahead and I changed. We had, you had our weaknesses. And the thing
Yeah.
is like you said, this is really negative, the our or the weakness part, right?
Right.
Because with Rex's teaching and what he acknowledges, the fact is that's a limiting belief.
Right.
Weakness is a limiting belief. So
Mm-hmm.
if you believe you have a weakness, you're living in that state of mind. You're going to feel that if you stay
Right.
there. And
Mm-hmm.
Rex doesn't let you stay there. So how you cope with this is you get the hell away from feeling that. So I know you got a list of books and all sorts of stuff, but I'm telling you, dude, if we're going to start doing stuff together, you're going to want to speed
Yep.
this up and get this book fast, because you and I together doing a show and doing this, we will be lighting this place on fire. I kid you not, because you are on the cusp. You have everything you said would be like Rex would be proud of everything you said. You're just missing a couple little components
Okay.
that you wouldn't even ever have thought of this as being a topic of the weakness and how to cope, because
Sure.
we don't need to cope with. Coping means that we're going to take it and we're going to carry that freaking baggage. Oh, we got weakness and we're going to stick with it. F no,
Yep.
we don't have that. We don't have that so much that I'm going to even take that ticker parade off,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have weakness here. We don't have it because we don't acknowledge it, and we're not keeping that. We're not keeping that whatsoever. We're acknowledging that it's I meant
Way to go,
hi
Scott.
Scott Ricard. I love you. Scott's awesome.
I love how he talks about his weaknesses in emojis. That's wonderful. Love it.
But seriously, when we sit there and we think about what's bothering us, that's too long. And when we speak it out in existence, that's even too long, because we're creating it, we're giving it a platform. We're giving it too much credence. And so when we realize that, instead we say, okay, do we want to broadcast that? And Rex talks about be careful what you broadcast.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, I'm going to start on Sundays being in Clubhouse in Rex's room as a moderator. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a big thing. I'm such a Rex fan. It's not even funny. And it's just, it makes life so much simpler, Brian. And I think you're just so mature and ready for this now, that you need to speed it up and get there. And, hey, Jen, thanks. Jen, I met Jen in Rex's room. And I'm telling you that we don't, the fact that we don't even have to cope with anything unless you want to cope with something.
Correct.
That's the thing. It's a limiting belief that you have to cope with anything. You have to go through these things. You have to, we all go through things. Life is a process, and we do go through things, but they're lessons. They're lessons, and we have to deal with them. Yes. And they're very, very difficult to deal with, lessons, and hard, but we do not have to stay stuck with that. And we don't have to make it be part of our story. You're meeting in a lot of rooms, young lady. Be careful.
Be careful.
I know Jerry's like my dad. Dad, I'm being a good girl. I'm playing safe distance and everything. I'm being a good girl. Thank you for watching out for me. I love Jerry.
Listen up, young lady.
Yeah, he watches out for me. Tells me
I've
got to be careful how I love people and everything. But Dad, I'm being a good girl. I promise. So seriously, as far as, picking this topic, I thought it was great. Don't give me your Dad. I'm not. I'm telling the truth.
Don't give me your beer.
But seriously, I'm glad you picked this topic, because I could pick out the fact that those were limiting beliefs, that when we bring them out on the table, they are no more issues for us. And so, and it's nice, because for the people that resonate with that topic, they can realize that the way that they can handle it is that, you don't realize you have a problem until you acknowledge it, right? And then when you acknowledge it, you can do something about it. And I loved when you go back and you look at the beginning of this and you say, well, that's negative and you don't like to be that way, like you're so ripening for the picking to know that you don't need to live there no more, Brian. Not at all. So,
And as you're
oh,
talking,
what's the
it's
topic? The topic is
love it.
the topic was, so to speak, is oh, where was it? Where were we? The topic was weakness and how to cope. We don't have weaknesses. That's a limiting belief. You can fix anything that you consider a weakness. It doesn't have to be your weakness. You can work on it. So that's a limiting belief that it's your weakness.
Mhm.
Everything, like you don't know how to ride a bike at first, you know, it's not your strong point, but you got to learn. You got to fall, bump, bruises, whatever. It doesn't
Well,
always have to be your weakness.
it's like that. I think it's Native American, but it's the Native American. It's like a Native American a story about the older grandfather talks to the young kid, and he talks about what you have two different sides in you or whatever. Which one,
Yes,
which one are
yes.
you? Is
Which
the
one
one
you
you
gonna
fuel?
feed?
Yeah,
Yes, which
which
one
one
you
are you gonna
feed?
feed?
The wolf or the yeah. Which one are you gonna feed? Exactly. That's exactly it is. We've got the negative and we got the positive. Humanistically, we're always thinking of the negative and we're always in the survival mode. But we got to
Mhm.
learn how to teach our subconscious mind, because subconscious mind is always looking to keep us safe and always
Right.
looking to keep us where
Well,
it's our yes. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So basically, if we realize that we can feed it the right things to always cheer us on, to always be right, and to get rid of the disbelief, the things that are not true, because something in our belief system was true only because somebody told us. That
Mhm.
doesn't
Right.
that doesn't make it so. We never.
Well, Well, look at people like the one guy Nick with his last name starts with a V. The guy has no legs and no arms,
Yes,
right? And it's like, okay, when we start looking at people like that, and there's countless people, right? There's people that have had military wounds where they're dismembered and their face looks like it was like with all sorts of surgeries, and it's like they have no self-limiting beliefs. Now, do they look different to other people? Sure. Does it do they carry the weight with them that you know that that they that they have to live with that? Well, if they choose to, sure, but they're not feeling the right thing. Like their life is the way it is now, you know
yeah.
and you're just recoursing in one of my weaknesses or self-limiting beliefs is living in the past. So I don't have to live there, but obviously whatever you feed is what it's going to be.
Well, and Rex says about living in the past, our memories are, they're gone. They're illusions. They're gone. And we just
Yep.
choose to keeping them alive. But the experience, it's gone.
Yeah.
And what we keep is the feelings to it. So the
Yep.
feelings that keep it, going. Um, just knowing.
Just knowing what I'm good or not good at. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is if you keep amplifying that it's a weakness, that you're not good at that,
Correct.
how do you get good at it? By working at it.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to keep being your weakness if you keep working at it,
Well, I mean, let me give you an
you
example.
know?
Like people that are funny and they don't think that they're funny. It's like, oh, I'm not funny. I could never get up on stage and do improv. And then they do it, and they they don't even realize the impact they're having on other people
Right.
because they set their belief at such an area, probably from the past, about how they feel about it, without an awareness about what they're doing for others.
Right. Well, and everybody's got a different sense of humor, right? So it might be the
Correct.
different crowd. So, but
Mhm.
you didn't realize that. You thought everybody had the same humor. You didn't
Right.
realize. So your belief system was like, well, if one person doesn't laugh, not everybody laughs. You didn't realize there's different kinds of humor, dry humor, funny humor, different kinds of humor, different kinds of people. So you
Right.
got to realize, you got to always just question, why do you believe that? And when you keep asking yourself the why and how and because, you realize that that's when your belief system starts changing.
Well, and obviously weaknesses, knowing that they're all in the past and it's a limiting belief, it's like, what are we making that mean? Because
So,
it's already framed as if it's negative, right?
right.
So then, well, but then also we look at, Why is it that it's so easy for somebody to be in the negative and hardly be in the positive? Because the negative, you get that payoff, you get that dopamine hit, right? You get to have a pity party instead of, I'm not going to play in that sandbox anymore.
You want to read that?
Sure. Jen says, is saying there are things I'll never be good at an excuse to not grow? 100%.
Absolutely.
Yep,
And
100%.
again, whatever you think, you're always right.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's Henry Ford,
Right. Right. And not only that, that's somebody that's really looking for negative regardless. There's somebody that's always going to be that way.
Well, how many times, like Jen, you bring up a good point, is that however you frame it is more likely how it's going to go. Case in point, if you wake up in the morning on the wrong side of the bed or didn't sleep really well, what are you going to tell yourself? And then what is the day going to manifest to be? Probably exactly what you say it's going to be.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I want to have a great day, but I'm framing it as if it's going to be a horrible day. Well, which one do you want?
Right. And you're going to find everything for, to validate that, because that's what our subconscious does, is validates everything that, in your history, in your past, to say, you see this.
Go ahead. No,
no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You're good.
As my therapist says, it's like, if there's something, like if my brain is scattered and I've got all these projects to do, she goes, just get started. Say to yourself, get started. You get rid of all the meaning and how long this is going to take and blah, 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 and all the programming that we have in our brains, and you just get started. Right?
Yep.
You look for the adventure. You look for the fun. You don't look for the things that are not even going to get you to even take part in that. Like, oh, I could never do that. Well, you probably won't just by that, because you're not going to tell yourself that once. You're going to say it every single time that opportunity comes up.
Yeah. Well, Christopher Rausch, I think you would have loved being here at the beginning and how this show started, in the way, because you'd say, that's right, Lynn, it's just excuses, damn it. So you're going to want to watch a replay on this. It was pretty good. But of course, and not only with Rex Sykes, I've got this guy for No Excuse. So between those two, this year you're going to see such a different Lynn and where I'm going. And like I said, Brian, I just love that you played along with me. I just love that we just ripped off your excuses and and get you on the speed. I'm super excited that you are so ready to just put all your knowledge to the direction that you needed, especially with Rex's teachings. I'm super excited. I can see your future. It's going to be so exciting. And no, that's not a psychic thing. I'm just saying that it's just like I can see it, people. You guys, I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Here we are, like Rex would say, and I'm going to say, and I know Brian would agree, you are perfect. You got everything you need. There's nothing outside you. There's nothing that neither one of us can say to change you. You have all the answers yourself. We're just here to ignite some thoughts for yourself, to question your own belief system and to empower yourself to look within yourself, because most of the time we're living on the outside world, and the outside world is not as nice and as kind as we should be living the inside world. Because when you live the inside world, everything on the outside is going to look beautiful, because you're in charge. You can be real and raw, and everything else will be better in your world. So,
mic drop.
Yeah. So you guys, I love you too, Christopher. We're going to talk soon. We're going to do a pop-up here real soon. You guys, anything else you want to add before we leave, Brian?
No, I mean, man, I got to get Rex's book like right now and get that accompanying program. He's got that program that he offers too.
And Brian, just so you know, like I have 4 or 5 of my friends that have all just be getting their book. It's one of those things, like if you need to be around me, it's like I'm not going to stop. They don't have to do the Rex thing, but I'm so enthralled in it. If they want to understand me, I guess just get the book, read it once, and let it go. But I'm not letting it go, so it's really awesome.
And I've got no excuse, because he lives in a town I pass, to get where I need to go when I go visit my girlfriend and be with her. So I got no excuse but to get some signed copies and enrich the life of others. So,
all right, you guys, you stay right there, Brian. You guys, we'll let you go. Have a good one. We'll see you next Friday. You guys, like we
bye,
love
everyone.
to say here, we want everybody to have a great weekend, right, Brian?
Absolutely.
All right. Love you, Brian.
Love you too,
Bye-bye.
Lynn.